Welcome, kids. I am so glad you're joining me today. Recently I've noticed this cosmic level financial earthquake happening in the tech world right now, and I really want to share it with you. We're talking about the company behind ChatGPT stepping into the absolute biggest capital game on Earth. It is a massive story of money, technology, and the future. So in this explainer, I'm going to carefully guide you through it step by step.
Okay, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture a massive, universe-sized piggy bank. At this very moment, this giant piggy bank is pulling in money like glowing shooting stars from all over the cosmos. Why is that happening? Well, it's because the biggest tech giants in the world, the ones making the smartest artificial intelligence and the most powerful rockets, are collectively heading to Wall Street to gather funds from the public.
Now, take a look at this staggering number. $1 trillion. That is a 1 followed by 12 zeros. It's an amount of money so vast, it's almost impossible to actually picture in our heads. To put that into perspective, if you tried to count to 1 trillion, it would take you over 30,000 years. And yet, this astronomical number is the exact valuation that OpenAI is aiming to reach in this massive capital game.
So you might be looking at that giant number and asking, well, how does this affect a 13-year-old kid like me? Please don't worry about the big numbers. As a financial sociologist, my whole job in this explainer is to break down these intimidating global money games into simple, relatable stories just for you. You absolutely do not need a business degree to understand this stuff. You just need your natural curiosity.
To see how this massive game is played, we can actually use a really fun schoolyard analogy. You see, the company behind ChatGPT recently made this kind of mysterious financial move that we can think of as handing over a secret envelope. Now, to understand what's inside that envelope and why it matters so much, we just need to learn a couple of big financial words first. But don't worry, they are way easier than they sound.
The first word is IPO, or Initial Public Offering. Think of it like this. Imagine the absolute smartest student in your class has built an amazing science project. They go down to the school auditorium and basically divide their project into millions of tiny pieces, selling those little pieces to everyone. Anyone with just a little allowance can suddenly become a tiny owner of this brilliant project. And that is exactly what an IPO is in the business world.
But OpenAI did something called a confidential filing. This is literally like that top student sneaking their report card directly to the principal in a secret envelope first. Why would they do that? Well, because even though their project is making huge amounts of money, their debts are also astronomical from buying so much expensive equipment. They just want to quietly check with the principal to make sure everything is perfectly okay before showing their grades to the whole school.
Which brings us to the economic engines driving this entire global shift. To make their artificial intelligence smarter, these companies need the ultimate fuel. Now, this isn't gasoline, of course. It's immense, mind-boggling computing power. And this massive need for power directly impacts huge tech manufacturing hubs around the world, especially places like Taiwan, which literally build the physical beating heart of this entire technology.
In economics, we call this process capital deepening. Imagine you need to dig a giant hole. Instead of hiring 1,000 people with tiny little shovels, you spend billions to buy the world's biggest, most advanced laser drill. OpenAI must spend tens of billions on high-end computer chips and super data centers just to keep growing. They can't just hire more human workers. They literally have to invest massive amounts of money into high-tech equipment.
And all that crazy spending brings us to something called a burn rate. This is simply the speed at which a new company spends its cash. You see, even though a company like OpenAI makes billions of dollars, it burns that cash so incredibly fast buying equipment that it desperately needs the public's investment through an IPO just to survive. The money in their own piggy bank is simply draining way too quickly.
Now, I want to invite you to imagine a giant, sunlit cafe. Let's just call it the World Cafe. In this cafe, different countries are reacting to this huge AI financial news exactly like classmates
with very different personalities. From my perspective as a financial sociologist, it is a truly fascinating human drama playing out on a global scale, and everyone is bringing their own unique energy to the table.
In this cafe, picture the loud, commanding golden retriever of the USA, confidently setting the rules and controlling the funds. Over in the corner, you've got the patient Tibetan Mastiff of China, quietly building its own strength. You have the romantic French Bulldog of France rejecting the tech for art. And sitting right in the middle, the highly sensitive mixed breed of Taiwan, quietly observing it all, fully aware that everyone else absolutely needs the chips she holds in her paws.
Seeing how wild and loud the financial markets can get with all these different personalities clashing, I really want to give you a future navigator's guide. My goal here is to empower you kids to keep a clear, critical mind rather than just blindly following the hype of the adult world. When the market goes crazy and everyone is shouting, we must learn to stay calm, observant, and thoughtful.
So, here are 2 practical, simulated exercises to help you build a professional manager's calm perspective. Step 1, set up a virtual $100,000 investment fund on a piece of paper. Remember, you're not using real money, you're just tracking it. Step 2, don't just use AI to do your homework. Actively test it, ask it tricky questions, and look for logic bugs to truly understand its limits.
For your virtual fund, I want you to write down the stock prices of these 3 key companies today. We have Microsoft, NVIDIA, and TSMC. Let's call it a painless practice run. Keep that paper safe and check back in the autumn when the big IPO happens. See how your virtual investments reacted to the news. Building this habit of critical thinking is absolutely the best investment you can ever make in yourself.
A thought I want to leave you with today is this: the world is decided by those who understand each other and stay calm. Kids, I am so incredibly proud of your curiosity. To be exploring the deep mechanics of the tech and finance world at your age is simply amazing. The loudest person in the room rarely shapes the future. Keep observing the world carefully, and you will navigate the complex future brilliantly. But tell me, when that $1 trillion piggy bank finally cracks open, which of these global personalities do you think will grab the most coins? Keep testing, keep tracking, and thank you for exploring with me today.